Dennis Rader, also known as the BTK Killer, short for bind, torture, kill, is one of the most infamous serial offenders in American history. The moniker BTK first gained public attention when he himself used it in a letter sent to a local newspaper, describing his methods and taunting law enforcement. This desire for recognition set him apart from many other serial killers, as he craved notoriety almost as much as he did control over his victims. His story is particularly disturbing because he managed to live a seemingly normal life while committing horrifying acts over nearly 2 decades. His eventual capture in 2005 shocked the world, as it revealed how a seemingly ordinary man had concealed his dark double life for so long. His case stands as a haunting example of how predators can blend seamlessly into society, hiding in plain sight while committing unspeakable crimes. What made Rader's crimes even more chilling was his desire for notoriety. Unlike many serial killers who operate in the shadows, he actively sought attention, taunting authorities and relishing the fear he instilled in the community. His arrogance and need for recognition ultimately led to his downfall, but not before he had spent years eluding capture. Dennis Lynn Rader was born on March 9, 1945, in Pittsburgh, Kansas, but he grew up in Wichita. By all accounts, his childhood was relatively normal, though he later admitted that he had violent fantasies from an early age. He reportedly tortured small animals, a behavior often linked to dangerous psychological tendencies. This early sign of disturbed behavior, along with his later confessions, suggested that he had an innate fascination with control and suffering. His ability to hide these urges from those around him would later become a defining trait of his criminal career. Despite these warning signs, Rader appeared to follow a conventional path in life. He seemingly suppressed his violent tendencies by immersing himself in structured environments, such as the military and later his job at ADT. His deep involvement in community activities, including church leadership and the Boy Scouts, may have also helped him maintain a facade of normalcy while secretly nurturing his dark impulses. He seemingly suppressed his violent tendencies by immersing himself in structured environments, such as the military and later his job at ADT. His deep involvement in community activities, including church leadership and the Boy Scouts, may have also helped him maintain a facade of normalcy while secretly nurturing his dark impulses. He attended Kansas Wesleyan University for a short time before enlisting in the U.S. Air Force. After serving from 1966 to 1970, he returned to Kansas and took various jobs, eventually working for ADT Security Services, where he installed security systems, ironically helping people protect themselves from intruders like himself. His time at ADT gave him knowledge of home security vulnerabilities, a fact he would later use to his advantage when choosing his victims. In 1971, he married Paula Dietz, and they had 2 children. To outsiders, Rader seemed like an upstanding citizen. He was active in his church, served as a Boy Scout leader, and worked for the local government in later years. His involvement in the community further solidified his image as a trustworthy individual, making it even more shocking when his true identity was revealed. But behind this facade lurked a man with sinister desires. The contrast between his public and private life made his crimes all the more unsettling. Rader committed his first known crime on January 15, 1974, when he targeted the Otero family in Wichita. He broke into their home and brutally took the lives of 4 family members: Joseph, 38, Julie, 33, Joseph Jr., 9, and Josephine, 11. The method he used to control and subdue them followed a disturbing pattern that would become his signature. He later admitted that he took pleasure in the psychological torment of his victims. This attack marked the beginning of his long reign of terror, during which he developed the moniker BTK, short for bind, torture, kill. The level of control he exerted over his victims was a central part of his criminal psychology. He did not merely want to kill, but to dominate completely. Rader meticulously planned his attacks, often studying his victims for weeks or months before striking. He would stalk them in their daily routines, learning their habits, schedules, and vulnerabilities. Sometimes, he would even break into their homes beforehand to familiarize himself with the layout or leave behind tools he would later use. Rader carefully selected victims who lived alone or were in situations that minimized the risk of interference. His ability to blend into society allowed him to move unnoticed, making it easier for him to execute his carefully laid-out plans without drawing suspicion. His ability to stalk and manipulate his targets contributed to the longevity of his crimes without being caught. Unlike many other offenders, Rader wanted recognition. After the Otero murders, he sent a letter to a local newspaper, taking credit for the crime. He taunted law enforcement and demanded publicity. Over the years, he continued to communicate with police and the media, sending cryptic messages, puzzles, and disturbing descriptions of his acts. One of his letters contained an eerie poem inspired by the famous "Oh, Death" folk song, twisted into a sinister message reflecting his actions. Rader's need for attention was a crucial factor in his eventual capture. His communications with authorities stopped for many years, but when he resurfaced decades later, it led to his downfall. His overconfidence in his own intellect and ability to manipulate law enforcement ultimately became his undoing. Rader had spent years successfully evading capture, believing that his careful planning and methodical approach made him untouchable. His trust in law enforcement's inability to track him was reinforced by the lack of viable leads and forensic advancements during his active years. When he resumed communication with authorities in 2004, he underestimated their technological progress, assuming he could still outsmart them as he had in previous decades. This misplaced confidence led him to make critical mistakes, including sending a floppy disk that ultimately revealed his identity. Rader struck again several times between 1974 and 1991, targeting individuals in their homes. His victims included a Catherine Bright, April 4, 1974, a Shirley Vian, March 17, 1977, a Nancy Fox, December 8, 1977, a Maureen Hedge, April 27, 1985, a Vicky Wegerle, September 16, 1986, Dolores Davis, January 19, 1991. Each crime followed a chillingly methodical process. Rader meticulously observed his victims for weeks or even months, studying their routines and daily habits. He often selected individuals who lived alone or in vulnerable situations, ensuring minimal risk of interruption. Using deception, such as posing as a tradesman or stranded motorist, he gained entry into homes. If necessary, he used force to subdue his victims before binding them, prolonging their suffering as he exerted full control. His ability to blend into everyday society allowed him to move unnoticed, making him even more dangerous. By maintaining a respectable image as a family man, church leader, and local government employee, he deflected any suspicion away from himself. This duality not only prolonged his criminal activities but also demonstrated how predators can seamlessly integrate into communities, exploiting the trust of those around them. After 1991, Rader went quiet. He seemingly disappeared, leading many to believe he had either died or been incarcerated for another crime. In reality, he had simply put his dark activities on hold. During this time, he continued his normal life as a husband, father, and community leader. He even became the president of his local church council. He did not stop fantasizing, however. His journals, discovered after his arrest, detailed new potential targets and elaborate scenarios he had envisioned but never executed. His restraint during these years remains a subject of speculation. Was it self-control, or simply a matter of opportunity? In 2004, on the 30th anniversary of the Otero murders, Rader made the decision that ultimately led to his downfall. He started communicating with the police again. He sent letters, packages, and a series of cryptic messages. He also included personal items from his victims, proving he was indeed the real BTK. His arrogance led him to ask law enforcement if they could trace a floppy disk. Investigators, knowing they could, deceitfully assured him it was safe. Rader, convinced of his own superiority and eager to continue his game of cat and mouse, believed them. This moment of overconfidence stemmed from years of successfully evading capture, making him believe he was untouchable. Unbeknownst to him, this single misstep would be his undoing. This crucial mistake led police to Dennis Rader. On February 25, 2005, they arrested him near his home. DNA evidence confirmed his guilt beyond any doubt. Rader quickly confessed to all 10 murders in shocking detail. He showed no remorse and spoke about his crimes as if they were mere projects he had worked on. His detailed confession left no room for doubt. In June 2005, he pleaded guilty to 10 counts of murder. At his sentencing, the court heard the horrifying details of his actions. Victims' families spoke about the devastating impact he had left on their lives. Rader was sentenced to 10 consecutive life terms in prison, ensuring he would never be free again. Dennis Rader's story serves as a grim warning about the dangers that can lurk behind even the most ordinary facades. His case also underscores the critical role forensic advancements play in solving crimes, proving that even the most elusive offenders will eventually face justice.